Hello everyone, I hope you're enjoying your July Sunday night. I know I am. My name is Don Shanahan, and this is another movie classroom for Every Movie Has a Lesson. I've been using this ShowMe app since the beginning of the summer season to kind of do a interactive whiteboard style video pitch, if you want to call it, towards the movie reviews that I write on my website. The hook of my website is to kind of look at things with a teacher's eye, with the idea that every movie can teach a lesson, from the serious to the farcical. This newest review today is going to be for the romantic comedy parody, They Came Together. I'd like to tell you more about it in the next slide. Alright folks, for those of you who've been starving for a good romantic comedy this summer, that underserved date crowd, I think you got a good little piece that you can find right here with They Came Together. They Came Together stars Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. It's from director David Wayne, who worked with most of these actors in Wet Hot American Summer, but he's also done role models in Wanderlust. What's going on here is that you're going to watch this movie, it's going to feel like a great, meet-cute, cuddly romantic comedy, and then you're going to realize that everything's kind of turned into funny little ear here. What's going on here is a parody. Like the great Mel Brooks movies and the Zucker Brothers movies and even the Wayans Brothers movies of now, what's going on here is a straight skewering and making and complete farce towards the cliches we know of and normally fall for and love about romantic comedies. What makes this a little bit more intelligent than your average copycat parody movie is they're crafting a completely original romantic comedy kind of thread and storyline here, while doing their jokes to make fun of all the things we tend to kind of take for granted in romantic comedies. So unlike most parodies we watch, where they're taking the best collections of memorable scenes from movies that we like and kind of throwing them all together in a movie like Epic Movie or even like Scary Movie from the Wayans Brothers, you're getting a very clever, very well crafted romantic comedy that just happens to be making fun of itself along the way. Everyone is, doing this with a straight face and taking it very seriously the whole way. We've seen Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler in comedies and, of course, sketch comedy before. They do a very good job of selling you on every single thing they do. They can do just about anything we think of as farcical with a straight face. If you watch Amy Poehler every week on Parks and Recreation, to blindly believe the things that she makes herself believe is pretty impressive. So you put that, and Paul Rudd is probably the most adorable man in the whole wide world, at least according to all the ladies I talk to. You got a great combination for a good parody. It's very smartly written, very smartly done, very clever in the way that they do this while making a very original take to this sort of thing. We'll see familiar kind of drops of different things that maybe come from one thing or one particular movie, but they're all kind of fashioned and molded for a way to make this a unique experience. I hate to say it, but while making fun of romantic comedies, is the best romantic comedy we've seen in quite a long time. It's not everyone's cup of tea in terms of humor. This definitely has a different speed to it. The jokes come fast and furious. It definitely feels more, while having a unified thread, it still can feel like an extended Saturday Night Live skit. You have a lot of Saturday Night Live actors in this movie to go with that, so it has that feel to it. But the complexity and the cleverness and the humor really never go away. It's a great cast. It's really well done. I give this movie a 4 out of 5. Really, really good romantic comedy. Even when making fun of romantic comedies, it's rare to see, as I said before, to see a parody movie kind of do so while still being original without just being a straight copycat. Let me get to the lessons, and the lessons obviously are going to side to the farcical here. Alright, since everything in this parody is very shades of gray to what a romantic comedy is, I'll write my lessons in the color gray. Lesson 1 is the obvious, hit you over the head one here that we're all supposed to pick up on and we're all supposed to know in real life, but we don't. And the idea is that real love never happens like it does in the movies. Real love never happens like it does in the movies. Let me go off on that in a little bit here in the movies. Thanks for bearing with me on the writing. Like I said, this is a classroom in action. You could go for pages on this slideshow here on ShowMe, or even on my website, of picking out every single romantic comedy cliche and the gullible things that we fall for and what makes them just absolutely improbable. There's not room for that, but let's just say this lesson right here in that things don't happen that way in the movies. You know, we meet people through online dating. We meet people through friends. We all have our own little unique stories of how we came together, but they're never as over the top as we get them to be in a 3-act story arc of a movie. There's peaks and valleys here, and they don't match the peaks and valleys we see in the movie. If it was, we would all probably be a lot happier society with a less than 50% divorce rate. So let's just get lesson one out of the way, and that, you know, we're watching a fun romance, and we're dreaming with whimsical fancy about a fun romance, but let's be honest, real life is a little more realistic, hard. There's, more, there's more cynicism and reality that comes in where love comes from. Alright, lesson 2. Alright, for lesson 2, I do pick out one joke that I kind of go with here, because I think a lot of romantic comedies, and even ourselves, kind of do this. And like I said, in lesson 1, I could go for days, but I'll pick one out right here, and that is, stop thinking your setting, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second here. Your setting is a character in your love story. They came together does a very repeated joke, clever, kind of pokes that everything that's going on between the two characters is quintessential New York stuff. And I know I've never been to New York, and I can't speak to where New York is, and I'm sure New York has their own style, and I get that it's a worldly city and all that, but no setting is a character in your love story. It's a setting. You're not the first person to meet at that coffee shop. You're not the first person to have a kiss on that park bench. Someone else has this piece to their story and setting and backdrop too. Yeah, it might be your place and it's your home and things like that, but you're not the first person to have sex on that beach in Aruba, okay? I'm just saying. I mean, it goes that far. It's cute, and I know those are the details that go with your story, and it's you, and and that's all cute, but come on, New York is not a character, it's just New York, alright? It's the same thing if this was Chicago where I live, a little small town where you grew up in, it's stick with you being the characters in your story, not your setting. So that's a fun joke that they come together, definitely has a little play with. Alright, and to hammer the cynicism home, as usual, anybody who watches a romantic comedy maybe after a breakup, or maybe a single person who watches these sort of things, we know we can plug in more cynicism and sarcasm in our romantic comedies, and that's kind of where this final lesson comes from, is that, let me just spell it out for you here, the long version of the, quote, story of you, interests no one. The movie does a good job of hammering that home. The entire premise of the movie that's being played out before us is all done in flashback over Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd going to dinner with Ellie Kemper and Bill Hader from Saturday Night Live, and they're, obviously they're all playing characters, but the entire, hey, how did you two meet, is kind of the crux of what gets our ball rolling that becomes our movie. Bill and Ellie sit there thinking, the how do you two meet thing is going to be something as simple as, we met him at work, or a very, maybe 2-sentence little cute story. Oh no, and with cliches and with with an idea of parody here, the 2-hour movie you watch of Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler and their characters coming together is the long version of the story of them. And there's, in the times that they come back to the restaurant, outside the flashback, you see Bill and Ellie Kemper there losing their minds about how long, trivial, ridiculous, and over the top the whole quote-unquote story of you is. So if there's a lesson to take away from that is, I get that every couple has their great story of how they meet. I know I love asking fellow people I meet that are married or dating, hey, how did you two meet? I enjoy those stories. But condense it, revise it, paraphrase it to a short version for short situations. I mean, if you're in a big long ticket line for 2 hours and you're waiting for a bus, or if you're Forrest Gump on a bench with chocolates, great. Tell the long version of your story. But if you watch Forrest Gump, you'll notice the people on that bench change. And we never get to see film Forrest, those awkward, Forrest, I gotta go, that's great, thanks for the piece of chocolate. Have a short version for the story of you, because the long version interests no one but you and the author of your future biography. Alright, They Came Together is a very fun romantic comedy. If you like where the sarcasm is going in these lessons, I think you'll like the sarcasm in the movie. Definitely highly recommend it. Go have fun and go see it. And to wrap all this up, once again, my website is everymoviehasAlesson.com. That's where I post all my editorials, reviews, or otherwise. A little shameless plug here. I've been, I am a father of a toddler at home, and I've kind of put together a nice little editorial project on movie music used as lullabies. So while we're getting all on cue with our romantic comedies, I thought I'd drop that in there too. Definitely check out my site, find the fun stuff I do with the movies that I review, but also the things I try to dig up and find, much like baby music. Enjoy, everyone.